Hi, just a quick thought for Purim. But before I do, just a very short, if you'll allow me, a personal story. Last Thursday, I was flying home from Stockholm, and the pilot announced we're going to dim the lights in the plane, look out your windows, you'll be able to see the Northern Lights. And I have to admit, the Northern Lights it's seeing the Northern Lights is on my bucket list. It's something I've really been wanting to do. So it was an incredible experience. It was spectacular. It was something that I think I'll take with me for a long time. It really gives you a sense of perspective. It gives you it's awe-inspiring. It really is. And I know not everyone sees it in the same way, but for me, it was just majestic. It was just magnificent. It really, really was. And if you do have an opportunity, I'd strongly say it's something to experience. But anyway. The funny thing was that a lot of people, obviously, their gut reaction was to get out cameras, get out mobile phones, take photos. Flashes were going off, bouncing off the windows. Couldn't use your flash. All right, switch off the flash. Try to take dark photos when it was very, very dark. Not very easy. And ended up with just blurs. But me and the couple next to me, there was an elderly couple next to me, I said my bracha, and I just wanted to really just experience it, just to soak it all in. Okay, let's talk a bit about Purim, because Purim is very much the there's a lot of contradictions, if you like, with Hanukkah, because Hanukkah is all about light, and for obvious reasons. Purim is in some ways the opposite of that. Purim has a very dark side to it. You have to read between the lines and and read the commentaries, but you'll see that these were very troubling times for the Jewish people right then. They were under the rule of Achashverosh, a brutal dictator who was an emperor over most of the world, and he was under the influence of a rabid anti-Semite. There's no other way of saying it. Who, through no logic, had this plan of a global Holocaust, a global wiping out of the Jewish people, and a battle ensued, and Jewish people did die. The Megillah clearly says that Jewish people did die. We were ultimately victorious, but it did come at a cost. Purim is about the shade, if you like, though. The analogy that I've heard is, if you're driving along and the sun comes into your windscreen, comes into your eyes, you pull down the shade. Well, that's what Purim is, because Purim is about being able to appreciate the light, but using the shade to appreciate the light. Because by masking the light, you're able to see it better. That's why when there's an eclipse, we put on sunglasses or see it through a reflection. You can't look straight at the light. You need some way of being able to channel it, to filter it in some way. And that's what the message, one of the messages of Purim is. It's concealment. Okay, the way God concealed himself through physical events, through the Purim story. We know that God's name isn't mentioned explicitly in the Megillah. And so we need that shield. We need those sunglasses. We need that filter to be able to experience God. And just like the pilot was turning down the cabin lights for us to be able to see the Northern Lights, we wouldn't have been able to see them in daylight. Okay? And when the flashes go off, adding more light to it just exacerbates the problem. So for us to be able to experience light, and by light we mean the light of Torah, as reflected through God, from God, for us to be able to experience Hashem, to be able to see him in the world, as we're about to experience, please God, in a few weeks. Don't like to remind you, but Pesach's on its way, and we're going to talk about real, live, amazing, fantastic, spectacular miracles. But to be able to understand the sheer magnanimity of that, we need a bit of darkness first. We need a bit of a shield to be able to slow it all down, to be able to take stock and to see the physicality there. And then only in Kabbalah Chavad would you see this sort of philosophy. In Lubavitch, the Balatanya in his essays on Purim talks not just about the darkness, but about how there's light in the darkness and how we have an ability to see the light even in the darkness. And by what he means is the darkness enhances the light and the light enhances the darkness. The two work together to give us an understanding of the world around us. And that's what Purim's about, is these miracles on Purim were not blatant open miracles. They were concealed. They were shielded. They were shaded from us through a mask, through a prism, through the sunglasses, okay? The pilot turned the lights down. But by doing that, it wasn't to conceal God. It was for us to be able to appreciate him all that much better. Have a great Purim Sameach.